All right, so let's get right into it. How to filter an offer as a sales rep. Essentially, to avoid getting fucked and wasting your time with shit offers. Last thing you want to do as a sales rep is go into an offer and you're wasting 30 days, 60 days, even 3 months of your time that you're not going to get back. So you want to make sure you're going into a company that aligns with your goals, that can also actually get you there. And then also you want to make sure you're pushing a great product and you're working with some killers, right? So how to figure that out, right? And not get fooled, because we all know a lot of people are getting fooled, and sometimes you just don't know what questions to ask, which is going to cost you. It cost me. When I was just getting started, essentially I went 3-4 different offers that were not good. I just didn't know how to filter them properly. So if you're just new to sales right now, or let's say you're looking to figure this out right now and you haven't paid the price in terms of like getting into bad offers, this is great because it's going to avoid you a lot of pain and wasted time. So before you even get on an interview with an offer or offer owner or company, whatever you want to call it, watch their VSL, look at their website landing page, look at their track record, testimonials, like basic stuff. Look up the founder, have an idea of who he is, what he's done, stuff like that. Are they on socials or not? Is the company, are they established online, right? You will understand a few key things. Like the reason why, I think this makes a difference, because if their socials are well established, it can build trust as well with the customer base or future prospects, making your job easier as a sales rep, right? So next up, you want to get an idea of the OTE. Depending on how the company does things, sometimes they'll let you know beforehand, right? And so they'll give you like an email or a form just giving you an overview of the company, what you get, what they do, potential like OTE, stuff like that. But again, a lot of these, the issue we're seeing in this industry is every motherfucker's lying about OTEs. They're telling you it's $10,000 to $15,000 a month, when really it's $4,000 to $5,000, $4,000 to $6,000 on track earning on a realistic basis. So it's like, that's the issue we're having, right? A lot of people are like getting fooled. How can you figure it out that you're about to get fooled before you actually end up getting fooled, right? So like even myself, I helped quite a few business owners, placed over 120 sales over the past 2 years or so, not more, kind of lost track. I always get business owners to fill out an application to give me an idea on everything about their company to a degree before I even get on the call. And then once I get on the call, I have this information and I'll still challenge them on certain things, right? There's a couple of things, right? How much they did the last 365 days, 90 days, new cash collected the last 30 days, what's the price range of their services, how does their sales team currently look like. As a sales rep yourself, if you go in an interview, be careful of not bombarding them with questions like this, because at the end of the day, they have options. So you want to ask them just a few of the right questions, but also present yourself well, right? Of course, you should be able to filter the offer, but at the same time, right, they also have options. So here with me, the dynamic I'm going to have with business owners is different, because let's say I'm a recruiter, I do recruiting on their behalf, right? They're going to be open to answer 30 questions of mine, 20 questions of mine, because they know I'm actually going to help them find the right people. With a sales rep, it's like a frame thing sometimes. They're going to be the ones where they want to make sure they have the power in the conversation, but at the same time, you want to ask them the right questions. And if you're going to ask specific questions, tell them why. It's like, hey, I just want to ask this because of X, Y, Z, right? And it's like, hey, or sometimes you could just ask them bluntly and directly. So for example, I would just ask them well, how big is your sales team at the moment? Don't have to give a reason for that. Just ask them directly. How many setters, how many closers? Write that down, right? How much did you guys do last 30 days, cash collected, just out of curiosity? Oh, we did X amount. Okay, and how much regarding the past year? I'm just kind of curious. I don't know how long the company's been around. I wouldn't say that, right? I would ask them, how much has your company been around for, by the way? Past 3 years. Oh, that's awesome. And by the way, I'm just getting curious, how much did you guys do last year in terms of numbers, just out of curiosity? Okay. Again, it's timing as well. Be careful how you don't have to ask all of these questions, but some of these questions are going to help you to filter some offers. One of them that I like to use is the last 30 days cash collected. I like to have an idea of how big their sales team is from their sales team, right? Also, how long they've been running is actually important. You could probably figure that out beforehand, but if they've been running an offer for the last 4 years and they've been more than profitable, the likelihood of you going to that offer and doing well is pretty high, because it's an offer that has that has product market fit. Even over a year and a half, over 18 months, if it's been in the market and it works, it's a good sign. Offers that have been on the market only for the last 3 months, I would be a little bit more careful. Just keep that in mind. How much did their best performing setter and closer make last month, and on average? How much did their lowest performing setter and closer make last month, and on average? Understand this. Reason why this is really really important, because if you're able to understand how much their best people are making, because everyone can have a crazy big month, but then you also want to understand like how much they're doing on average, right? Because some people are like, well, how much did your setters make last month? And they're like, oh well, they made like fucking like 15 bands. But it's like, bro, we all know the month before they were doing less than 8. Like they were doing like more like 7 to 8, right? But if you don't know that, you're gonna go into it expecting 12 to 15 G's a month, when really the average is a much lower, right? So always ask. I would also ask how much their lowest performing setter and closer made last month and on average, right? I think this is really important, because then you can kind of put that together and just see if the math is mathing, right? If it makes sense or not, right? Understand the company goals, how they plan on getting there. The more specific, the better. What they're looking ideally for a sales rep. Ideally, you want to make sure they have, morals, solid values, right? They're not a complete sociopath, right? They actually have their customers and team's best interests, while also being a beast and very, very skilled when it comes to running like a high-level company, right? Reason I say this is because you may have an attractive opportunity, but the person's completely messed up, and you're making money, but over time, it's just not going to be worth it. So be careful who you work with, right? Another thing I like to see is like how sharp is the founder. Like, numbers aside and all that, people always like, well, I want to go with the opponent that makes the most amount of money. Here's the thing though, is like sometimes you'll benefit of like going into a company where you'll make a little bit less, but the person you're working with is like, you'll work closely with them and they're like, they operate on a whole other level and they're super sharp, right? In that moment, the amount of stuff you're going to learn, not only is going to level you up as a person, but even in terms of business, you're going to go to levels beyond. Like you're going to become a better salesperson, you're going to understand business a lot better, because you're going to be close to someone who's just a different animal. And so sometimes like biggest thing is like you want to feel like, does this person operate on a different level? How much can I learn from this person? And a lot of the times too, you won't be able, like you'll get these questions answered without asking them. So you can just tell like how someone presents themselves, how they talk, what they know, how do they ask questions. Like you can just, it's also something like an energy thing. You could just get on a call with someone and you could just tell that they're high level, but like these things as well come into play. Work with someone who's high level, who has high standards, especially if you want to make not only more money, but also you want to level up as a person, right? Work with someone who of course has big vision, track record of success, is someone you can respect, but you can also tell is very skilled and really knows what they're doing. And they have a great product and they want to help and serve at the end of the day. Right? If they want to take care of the customers, your customer is going to take care of you. You'll get referrals, all that good stuff, and you have a business that crushes it. So that's the thing. Another thing I would ask too is like, how are they acquiring customers? So this is I would just pop that in, if you can. And then again, I've got a bunch of questions I ask here, but you don't have to ask all of these questions. A lot of these questions you're already going to get the answer beforehand. So just pick the questions correctly, ask the right ones, and then from there take notes and see if it makes sense, and also see if that person aligns and go from there. Be careful how you take your decision on which company you're going to work with. A lot of guys, they're going to skip a good opportunity because, I want to make a bit more money. But the thing is, the opportunity is great. You're going to learn a ton. You're going to work in a great environment. And the thing is, you're not married to that company. You could be there for a bit, stay there, make some money, learn a ton of things, grow. And then from there, you could go to, you could make the most out of the opportunity, and then when it's your next, and you got to do something else. So you got to not do something else, but you got to go. Other opportunities will open. Maybe you'll go to another company as well, or maybe you'll grow within that organization, right? So be careful on like how you take your decisions with who you work. And you may be at a different stage. People listen right now, you might be a sales rep who has closed millions of dollars in cash collected, and you're only wanting to work with a company where minimum you'll be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, and your whole objective is to make as much money as humanly possible, right? And that's what it is. You may be someone who's just getting started, right? And the thing is, let's say you need to get experience, right? And so you're expecting, okay, I want to make at least $7,000 a month, great. But then you have an opportunity where you may make $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Might not be as great, but the thing is, you're gonna learn a ton. They're a lean team. They run a great business. They have a great product. Like everything aligns, but it's not where you want the amount of money you want to make. Yes, you could wait, but at the same time, take action, move, learn, grow. As long as, let's say, everything is covered on your end in terms of like your basic necessities, Sometimes be careful not to skip on an opportunity that would really help you grow to another level internally and then also make you better. Because the thing is, too, you got to be careful because sometimes a great opportunity, the things you're going to learn are going to be so much more, like, are going to be worth infinitely more than the money you're going to make. Right? Like, even some of these roles in some companies where, like, I didn't vet them properly, but, like, I didn't make much money. But the thing is, I went in there, I gained experience, first of all, sales experience, which I was able to leverage in the future to land substantially better roles. But also, I put in reps, right? I learned a lot about, like, even like pitch decks. I learned a lot about like even just like working closely with these companies. I learned about like VSLs, pre-call sales, like pre-call process before someone books a call, like all these things, right? Especially as when you're newer, like you need to learn these things, right? And so you may think, well, I want to focus on getting paid. The thing is, you can get paid pretty quickly if you're able to get yourself to a level where you're a little bit more skilled, you have a bit of experience. Other opportunities will open up a lot easier. Don't be overly too picky, especially when you're getting started, and overly focused on the money because it's actually going to cost you. And what's going to happen is you being picky is you're going to keep missing opportunities, and you're going to stay in the same spot for the next year. That's really what's going to happen. I keep seeing that. So that's really my 2 cents. Another thing too, your network is your network. Like literally, it's cringe, but it's true. Like connect with people, know the right people, and grow from there, man. And man or lady, whoever's watching. And so I hope this is useful. If you have any other questions, you can reach out to me on Discord or Telegram at vizionaryfocus. And that's about it on my end.